Howdy folks, it's Alternative and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator Part 5 of the TRANSCONTINENTal Speedrun Spirit of St. Louis Charles Lindbergh Recreation Part 5. We left off in the last video about 20 minutes behind where I am now. I started this up and Sim did not crash or anything. Very exciting. So here we are, resuming with Part 5. Now, that being said, the first thing I did is I had to turn off real world weather. The weather updated when I hit resume or unpaused it, and bam, it was nasty, not flyable, windy, cloudy, couldn't see a thing. So this is what I call bush trip weather. So what I did is I went up here, I turned off real weather. It is not May 7th, 2022. I don't know where that came from. It is not 9:50. I don't know where this is. But anyway, I raised the base of the lowest clouds to just above our cruising altitude, so we don't have to worry about icing. Wind is a whole 2 knots. Where is it in here? I just read it. There we go. 1.6 knots, whatever. So that is the weather. I call it bush trip weather because the bush trips are usually like this kind of weather, right? The clouds are just above cruise altitude. Little wind, doesn't really matter. It's, late morning, early afternoon, and my Maine Coon is going to walk over my stuff. Anyway, if you're wondering where we are, if you didn't watch the last video, I don't know why you wouldn't have watched it, but if you didn't, Albuquerque metropolitan area is right here on the other side of these plateaus, and I cannot see because my Maine Coon is right in front of my monitor. Dude, move. I can't see anything. Move. And this is, what is it called? Redondo Peak in San Antonio Mountain. This is 11,200 feet. This is 10,900 feet. My plan is to enter the Jemez Mountains. This is like the very southern tip of the Rockies. I don't know if it's part of the Rockies or not, but it's the southern tip of them anyway. Jemez Mountains. My plan was to enter this, or is to enter this, go between the highest peaks, because that's where the path on the VFR map tells us to go. But I am unable to climb. I'm at 10,500 feet. I've been adjusting my mixture. I've been doing everything I can. I cannot get higher than 10,500 feet. So that's worrisome, because earlier I was at like 11,000 a couple days ago, but that's because I had real world weather turned on, and with the pressure I was probably able to fly higher. But with the weather, I changed it to like basic weather. I cannot get higher than this, so I might not make this. I might not make even getting into the mountains, let alone going between the highest peaks. So I don't think we can follow, where are you? I don't think we can follow this path. I really don't think so. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go deviate. Well, I'm going to fly up to the ridge. Let's do that. And if I can't get any higher, we're going to come down here and just go south of the mountains over Santa Fe, and then come back up to Wichita, Kansas, or whatever it is. Our next waypoint, dude, you're in my way, cat. You can't. Oh my gosh, I can't see my plane. I'm turning, I think. Move, big cat. Anyway. The next waypoint, I think, is 6 hours. Well, 5.5, but for me it'll be over 6 hours. Second waypoint, just north of Wichita, Kansas. So as long as we get just north of Wichita, Kansas, we'll have to look on the VFR map to see exactly where that is. Then it doesn't matter how I get there, right? So if I come down here and add like half an hour or 20 minutes, whatever, actually more than that probably, it doesn't really matter as long as we end up in Wichita. That being said, I could also go north. It looks like we can go through here, perhaps, and go through this way, but then I don't know if my zoom is where it is. I don't know if we're going to be able to get through the second part. I don't know. I think what we'll do... Oh my gosh, my cat sneezed. I think what we'll do is, if I'm not going to clear this, is I'll just kind of ride this north, and then when we get to the next valley north of Santa Fe, we'll have to see. Or I could just go south and avoid everything, right? Just avoid everything and not worry about anything, because we'll be south of everything. I might have to do that. We'll see, because my original plan was to climb to like 11,000 feet, right? And then we'd be fine, because we know this peak is 10,900. We don't have to fly over it. But if we could have gotten to 11,000 feet, then we could have cleared all this. I don't know. It's lots of drama. Realistically and safest thing to do would just be come down here and come around everything and just add half an hour and 45 minutes to our trip. The fuel should be okay. We've only used 18% fuel, and we're about halfway there. But I promised you through the mountains. But I also thought I was going to be able to climb. Well, let's head into the mountains, and if I have to just ride the ridge and get around or something, we will. Let's do that. I don't want to disappoint you all. Those of you who've been waiting for this video to drop, because it's probably been a couple days if I could see into the future. And I don't want to let you down. So we'll try to go through. If we can't, we'll ride the ridge and get around it. But whatever we do, we'll do it safely. So bear with me. I actually have to run upstairs and tend to some children, so I can't let it fly, but I will be gone for a while, and when I come back, let's see if I can remember what I just told you. See you in a second. Well, the elevation is approaching quickly, and if you're wondering why my voice changed, it's because it's a new morning here in real life. Nice and early, and I don't want to wake up my family, so I'm going to start out nice and quiet, and as the Saturday gets further and further along, my voice will get perkier and perkier. I did leave my sim running several days without me doing anything, so it's been paused for several days since the last cut a second ago, and it's been fine. It makes me nervous because every time I walk by my studio, my computer fans are slightly elevated, of course, even with the sim paused, but it's been okay. I do admit I have not been sleeping well, and you might be asking me why, and it's because I'm so nervous about landing this thing, which I'm not even going to get to for a few more real life days. So if I crash on my landing, I have to go all the way back to Wichita and refly 4 hours. So I've been nervous about landing this thing. I've been replaying in my head as I lay in bed each night how I'm going to land, just like we did in Paris, because we crashed in Paris for the transatlantic flight. However, we only had to go back to the Eiffel Tower 5 or 6 minutes away. If we crash in St. Louis, we have to go back to Wichita. So I've been thinking about that, and it's literally been keeping me up. And again, like my wife asked, why do I let these things torture me? But the thing that has given me the patience to do this is that every hour I fly is an hour towards the 1,000-hour achievement. So it's not wasted. If you remember back in the olden days of the sim, like 2 years ago, your hours only counted if you landed successfully and shut down the plane the way they wanted you to. So a lot of us missed out on a lot of hours. And then when they, air quotes, fixed the logbook, a lot of us lost our hours. So a lot of us have way more hours than the sim is reporting. But my point being, now every minute in the air counts, even if you don't land. So I can fly around for 10 hours and not land, and those 10 hours count. So that's what's given me the patience to do this. And if I have to refly 4 hours back from Wichita, then it's 4 more hours in the logbook. So that's what's keeping me going. But yes, I am losing sleep over this silly thing. Can you believe that? I've also been losing sleep over these mountains. However, looking at it from this angle, it looks like we might actually make this without any problem. But like I said, if we aren't going to make it, then I'm going to go to the south. At least I think I said this like 5 days ago, whatever, however long it's been. We will go to the south and avoid everything if I'm not going to make it. But we're almost there. But you can tell after this first rise to the plateau, it does go up a lot more. And I believe I said this before the cut, again, several days ago, that my original plan was to go about 7 or 11,000 feet, but I'm not able to get there. I did get up another 64 feet, though, from a while ago, but we're just hanging on by a thread because I believe this will stall right at 60 knots, so I gotta be very careful. Anyway, we're almost there to see what's gonna happen here. And we're inching closer, ever so close. I wonder what our ground speed is. It says 64 down below. I think that's knots. If you look at the bottom of the airspeed thing, it says 64. Because in here it says miles per hour, which is 70 something. But that's airspeed. And if you look at the ground, how quickly the ground disappears, from this perspective, we're going way faster than 70 miles per hour. So maybe we're doing about 80 air ground speed, who knows. But anyway, we're inching closer while the train inches up behind us. There's one final look at the flat area before we enter this exciting part of the Jemez Mountains. We have to do this twice. We have this section, and then we have a bigger section, and then the plains all the way to St. Louis. Well, all the way to the Appalachians, really. So realistically, you want to be 1,000 feet above your train. Are we going to be? Maybe if you look at the numbers on Google. But are we in the sim? I mean, I know the train data is supposed to be accurate. So if it's 1,000 feet in real life, if train is 11,000 feet in real life, it should be 11,000 feet in the sim. But I don't always trust that. And we're sinking because of the drafts. Did you see that? It knocked us around a little bit and caused us to hit stall for a second. But we recovered. So this is very, very, very delicate. I have been adjusting my... been adjusting my mixture ever so slightly, just little nudge by little nudge. Just being very careful to get maximum power. So we might, well, we are going to clear this ridge, this first ridge, barely. Realistically, yeah, I think, yeah. We're looking at the trees. I bet we're 1,000 feet above this ridge. Not more than 1,000 feet. But I think we're 1,000 feet above this ridge. Train turbulence is kicking in. But are we 1,000 feet above all this stuff here? My plan was to go between this hill, or this peak and this peak. But I think we're going to go between this one and this one. Then we can bail to the south if we have to. So that's going to be our plan here. Because this peak is 11,200 feet. There's another one in the next set that's 11,500 feet. So obviously we're not going to go over the peak, but we are going to go around it. Okay, here we go. All right, we're going to make this. We're definitely 1,000 feet above this. Not much more, but realistically this would be okay. Whew, all right. First part accomplished here. As ever slow as it is. Oh, the draft is making us point up. We're going to stall. Be careful. Don't let it stall. We're just riding the line of airspeed ever so carefully. What a beautiful way to enter the mountains. The Jemez Mountains. Wow. Just beautiful. Look at this. I'm going to give you some views here. They're not going to be sightseeing views, but I'll give you a couple views here. Oh, look at that road down there. Do you see that? Oh boy. Are we stalling? No, we just got a lot of train turbulence. Alrighty. So yeah, see, if we have to bail to the south, we will. We can go south of both mountain sets. Here's the first mountain set. Here's Santa Fe in this valley. There's the other mountain set. Again, 11,500 feet for those peaks. And if we have to bail to the south, we will. It'll add a lot. It'll add like 45 minutes, but I don't care. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And there's that ridge we just crossed, and the flat areas behind it, and the two mountains, the San Antonio Mountain and Redondo Peak in front of us, and then Santa Fe right here, up against that mountain. But are we going to make it without bailing? Well, we're getting some updrafts pushing us up, which is good, but that means on the other side we have downdrafts that are going to suck us down. And there's a downdraft sucking us down, see? Oh man. This is crazy. I think we're going to head to the south. We might make that ridge, but is it worth it? And having to go back 2 hours of flight? No. So let's just be safe than sorry. And then we can also see Santa Fe this way too. So nothing to lose by going this way a little bit. Now the question is, will we be able to cross the next set of mountains, or do we have to go to the south of those as well? The next set is a little wider. I don't know. I mean, some of the peaks are taller, but I don't know if it's higher elevation overall. And I know I'm doing a lot of talking during this section, but that's because this is really interesting, and the next 10 hours is going to be flat. So after this, it's going to be a lot of flat land. So I'm doing a lot of my talking in this part 5, I think we're on. I'm going to do most of my talking in this section, of course. And as far as fuel goes, we've only used 18%. of our fuel, because we were at 78%, now we're at 60, and presumably we'll use less fuel as we go because we'll be getting lighter and lighter. So as long as we're not quite halfway there. So to Wichita is the same distance, so that's probably another 18, which will bring us to what, 42, and then it's half that to St. Louis, so half of 18 is 9, so 42 take away 9 is 33. Oh boy, see us sink because we're stalling. We're not getting the wing dip yet, but do you see how we were sinking? Man, these updrafts and downdrafts are crazy, but that's how the real world works. Look at that, we're up to 1,600 feet, or 10,600 though, because we're getting pushed up, but then we get sucked down. So anyway, so we'll have plenty of fuel to get to St. Louis. We'll see how much it refuels us for the next leg. Remember, once you get to St. Louis, that's just leg 1. We've been flying leg 1 for all 5 parts, and there's going to be at least a 6th part of leg 1, and then several parts of leg 2, and then we'll get to New York. So we're not done yet. We're not even close. Just appreciating the valleys as it sucks us down into the valley. While we were pushed up to 1,800 feet. I didn't even realize it. I'm just trying to not stall. I'm not trying to touch as much. It's trimmed. It's trimmed for 64 knots or whatever. So I really shouldn't have to touch it. I just have to be careful that if we get sucked around, that we don't lose too much speed. I'm going to have to nosedive just a tad, but I'm trying not to touch the yoke in terms of attitude, but still being careful. And yes, we are way higher than we need to be, because if you think about it, we're probably 3,000 feet above the train below us, if not more. I'm just being extra cautious. There's your Redondo Peak above the left wing, of course, if you're interested in that. I believe this is Cochiti Lake in front of us, which borders the airport more or less. So we've got that to look forward to. Yeah, I'm just pointing everything out because, again, this is going to be the most interesting thing we see for a while. I mean, I love flying over the plains of the U.S. I really do. It's just as beautiful, but there won't be as much stuff to talk about. So I'm going to be talking a lot more in this section here. In fact, I was thinking this part 5 or whatever is probably going to be these 2 mountain ranges, and then we'll condense the entire plains into one more on the way to Wichita and St. Louis. Yeah, this area is so vast. There's Cochiti Lake, and then you have this little plateau, and then Santa Fe is still way over here. You can see starting to render in up against the mountains. So yeah, it's a big area. It's going to take me a couple hours to get through the next set of mountains here. So I'm going to try not to talk as much between here and there, but yeah, I've got another like hour at least till I get to the other side of this. This area is so vast, and yeah, look at that. We were up to 10,900 for a moment when I wasn't talking, and there's no way we would have cleared this. So I'm glad we didn't try, because we would have had to backtrack. The thing that's annoying though is that even though the one peak is 11,002, the other peak is 10,009, and we were at 10,009, and we wouldn't have covered over most of this. We wouldn't have made it. So clearly this is higher than it says it is, because we should have been able to clear it no problem. And my barometer is set, so my altitude is fine and everything. It's accurate. So yep, I'm glad we didn't try to go over that, even though in theory we should have been able to. So crisis averted, disaster averted. And there's your Santa Fe Greater Metropolitan Area. There's the main airport right there. And there's the town or the city. And we're not going to get a whole lot closer because the train ride is quickly. I guess we can sneak in a little bit closer here, but I don't want to get too close. And then we're going to be passing through the second mountain range. And then we'll be in the clear to Wichita, which is 1,300 feet elevation. So we can actually start coming down ever so slightly after the second mountain range. And then St. Louis, I think, was 605 feet. So all downhill from here, quite literally. And oh, look at the carved out river there. That's pretty cool. But there you go, there's Santa Fe. We'll get a little bit closer for you. There's I-25 below the wing, just about to go under it there. And then there's your Santa Fe. Now, I looked at images, and the city really is not a different color like this. That just must be the data they used is more detailed, so the color is more accurate. At first I was thinking, okay, maybe they've scraped off the earth to build and things, and that's why it's a different color like this. But it's not really a different color. That's just the imagery trial. See how it's squared off. It's just the tiles for the imagery, but that's okay. Yeah, so you can see how the resolution changes immensely from there to there. But that's okay. They just use the data that's available. So if you wanted to do a detailed sightseeing trip of Santa Fe, you know where to go. You can check out those details, but this is as close as we're gonna get. Let's look back into the mountains there, and let's keep track of what we're doing and not fly the wrong way. Here we go. So anyway, into the next range now, and then once you get to I-25, well, we're over I-25, but I-25 goes around the mountains here. See, right here. I-25 goes around the mountain, and then we'll be following I-25. Well, we could follow I-25. Where's Wichita here on my map? Oh, there's no interstate that goes to Wichita from the east to west. The 70 is north of it. Okay, looks like it's US 54. Alright, so here we are. We are clear of the mountain range because there is Las Vegas, New Mexico right in front of you here. And then there is the Las Vegas National Wildlife Refuge. If we hop outside and get some orientation where we are, that is looking back to the west. The mountain range, the second mountain range. Santa Fe is between the ranges. Back there was San Jose, New Mexico, on the southern tip of the range. Now we're heading mostly north. Now the plan, I'm going to keep going in this video because I think edited down, even though it's been like 2 hours for me, I think edited down is probably like 23, 24 minutes for you maybe at this point. So once we get to Las Vegas here, we're going to break off. We're going to follow I-25 a little bit. But then what I want to do is I want to clip as many states as we can. So we're going to head a little south of the trek they want us to take so we can clip the northern east corner of Texas, and then the panhandle of Oklahoma, the southeastmost corner of Colorado, and then we'll make our way into Kansas. And once we reach Kansas, that'll be the end of this video, and then the next video should be all of Kansas all the way to St. Louis. That's the plan. And then that'll conclude leg 1 of the transcontinental speed run. Remember, it's 2 legs. This is still leg 1 of the 2. And I'm just admiring this canyon carved out by the river. Wow, that's amazing. Alright, sorry for the weird cut if there was one, but I was just interrupted for a minute. So, anyway, I don't know what I was saying. Something about this video getting us to Kansas, and then the next video going from Kansas to St. Louis, right? Yeah, one thing at a time though, because I still got probably 3 or 4 hours of flying in this video that I'm going to condense down for you, and then the next video is going to be probably 5 hours of flying that I'm going to condense down, but whatever. Anyway, there's a refuge, wildlife refuge below us, and then Las Vegas, New Mexico there, and then this amazing river carved into a canyon. Good grief, isn't that amazing? Just amazing. Our planet is so amazing. So anywho, I'm going to fly towards Kansas and give you some sightseeing along the way, and then I'll probably start yapping to point out the 5 states as we leave and enter others. And I'll see you in a little bit. Simple as that. Alright, so we're not exactly where I was going to be before I started blabbing again. We have about another half an hour to get to the border of all the states, but I just wanted to point out that at 10,300 feet, we can see into Texas. See how the farmland starts? When I look at my Google Map images this starts along the border of Texas and New Mexico. So we can see into Texas. That's all this is here. Oklahoma, we can't see yet, which would be up there. And then Kansas and Colorado over here. And back to the mountains. So we went over Roy, New Mexico, which is back there. And now we're heading towards Clayton. And when we get to Clayton, that's where we'll be able to see all the states, and we'll quickly touch Texas and Oklahoma, then go up to Colorado and into Kansas and end the video. But still another hour and a half for me to fly. But I just wanted to point out that I can already see it. It's crazy. I can already see that far. Oh, I've also been trimming down little by little, as you can tell, because my speed is much higher now. But we haven't come down in much altitude. So I think that's kind of interesting. Wichita, I think, is 1,300 feet above sea level. So I want to be, let's see, 1,300. If I stay at like 5,000 feet or so, 4,000 feet, that's good. And then, of course, I think our destination airport, which won't be in this video, next video probably, that I believe is, they say 605 feet or something. So I do not need to be at 10,000 feet anymore. Everything is coming down slowly. I've been trying to lose altitude by trimming down, which will make your speed go up, which you come down to, you know, it works that way. A little bit, depends on the plane, but we're not really coming down that much. So I'm not sure. I could always bring back throttle, and that'll make us come down a lot, but I want to stay full throttle ahead. So instead of bringing back throttle to come down, I'm trimming down little by little. And just ever so slowly. I mean, we've got many hours to get down to 305 feet or 605 feet, whatever it is. Anyway, I just wanted to point out that you can see Texas from here. That's all I wanted to say. So I will see you in just a second when we get to Clayton, and we'll go over these 5 states all at once. All right, there's Clayton, and the state line is right here. This is Texas. This is New Mexico going around. And Oklahoma's right up here a little bit. So we're going to go into Texas just for a brief moment. But first of all, there is Clayton, which is several miles from Texas. But because we're so high in the air, it looks like it's right next to it. And there's the airport. There's the city, if anybody who knows where we are or the area. There is Clayton, New Mexico, from about 10,000 feet above sea level, about 3,000 feet above ground level. And there you go. Looking up. Oh, where's my controls here? Looking up the other side. There we go. Again, into the Texas border right there. And looking ahead. Alright, so we want to make sure we stay on this highway. We don't want to lose it. So we're going to go here. See where it bends. This is the northwest corner of Texas. And then the Tri-State Monument is up here somewhere, which again we're not going to be able to see from the air. But there it is. And we'll follow this road into Oklahoma, which should be pretty close. But first, let's fly into Texas. All right, see this little spot right here? This little building thing? That is the northwestern corner of Texas. So this first plot with the road going in a circle, that is Texas. This half circle is New Mexico. You can see the line here where the farmers stop on their own land going in to Texas. So let's hop inside and see. Look, there you go. Boom. So this road, I'll show you here. Here you go. You can see the border right there. Boom, 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 going down. I don't know why it makes this big deal of it. It's kind of fun. So there we go. We're about to enter Texas ourselves. And then we'll follow the road a little bit farther to get into Oklahoma. Which, well, you can see right here. You can see this building, this complex right here. This road is the Oklahoma border. So Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma. We're about to hit them all. And then we'll go up to Colorado before we end up in Kansas. And here we go. We are now in Texas. Just like that. There we go. Boom. Alright, so now let's go up the road here. And we'll go into Oklahoma, which is right here. This road, that's a lot easier to spot. And then I just, wrong zoom. And then I just need to get us up to Colorado, which we have lots of space to get to Colorado before we run into Kansas, I think. right, where is it? No, I guess not that much space, but enough. We're just going to follow 412. Well, if you're wondering where the Colorado border is, for some reason they were nice to us, and we have a nice dark line here. It's not like that on the satellite image. I think it's just the way the data is tiled in, as this was taken at a darker time or something. I don't know, but you can see a very clear line where the Oklahoma-Colorado border is. It is not that clear in satellite imagery, but I can tell that's it because here the river curves in, and then here is our farmland, which stops exactly on the border because, you know, farming in Oklahoma, they're not farming there in Colorado. So we're going to cross the border right about here. Actually, we can probably go over to the farmland. And then the Kansas border is right here. Let me see if I can spot it. There's a city there before the city. Yeah, the Kansas border is like right here. So Colorado here. Kansas here. And this is still Oklahoma. There's a straight line here for Kansas and Colorado. This is still Oklahoma. So let's cross over the, what you want to call it, the farmland to go along the river, and that'll be Colorado. And we'll end the video right up there, so give me another moment to get there. Alright, we're about to cross into Colorado, which I guess the line is actually right here. It's not, it was the dark stuff out to the west, but here it's shifted upwards north, and now this is the line, the state line. So Oklahoma and Colorado right where the farmland ends, and then here where this plot of land is, that line you see, that's Kansas. So that's where we're headed. we're headed to Kansas. And then, yep, I'm getting tired. Can you tell? I'm getting tired. In the next video, though, I'll explain how I'm doing this, with all this time it takes and everything. So make sure you're subscribed, so you know when the next video drops. Make sure you like this video so other people know we exist. I did notice that if you Google Spirit of St. Louis Flight Simulator, what comes up is the first 5 hits is my videos across the Atlantic, which is super freaking cool. Has not brought any additional traffic to the subscribers to the channel, which doesn't matter. I don't do it for the numbers. I just do it because you enjoy watching me and I enjoy doing it. But it is kind of cool to see me as a Google result. It's pretty crazy. So I'm not complaining about that. But I don't know if other people have done this. I'm sure other people have done this flight. I know some people like live streamed both of these long flights, which to me is crazy, but to each their own. I mean, I'm crazy for doing this. And now I'm rambling because I'm tired. But we're about to cross into Colorado, and I've already told lots of Colorado stories in other videos. I'm not going to tell any Colorado stories in this video, but this line right here is the border. So let's skip across into Colorado here, and there we are. We are now in Colorado, on our way to Kansas to finish the first leg of the transcontinental mission. Yeah, the first leg, and then yeah. So the next video will conclude the first leg, and then there'll be a bunch of videos for the second leg. So there we go. Let's get over to Kansas quickly so we can end this thing, and then we will wrap this up. And here we are looking at Kansas ahead of us. We're in Colorado. Oklahoma's to the right. Texas, we probably, yeah, we can see Texas from here. I guarantee you this is Texas over here in the distance. It did take a lot longer to fly across Oklahoma Panhandle than I thought it would, but I'm pretty sure you can see it. And you can definitely see New Mexico, because there are the mountains we started this video from. So we flew from there all the way to here in this video, and we're about to cross over into Kansas to end the video. And this also, by the way, puts us back on track with the path they want us to take. Actually, we're a little bit north of it, but we'll get back on track in a second. Because remember, we went very, very far south of their path to avoid the mountains. I guess for you that was the beginning of this video. For me, it was like 3 or 4 days ago. Again, next video I'll explain how I'm recording this and how I'm getting through this. But I'm going to save that for the next one, so that you have to subscribe to know when it drops so you can watch it. Anyway, Kansas border right here. I'm so tired. I almost said the Alaskan border. Kansas border right there. Oklahoma right there. About to cross over. So let's get inside. Prepare for the big crossover. Ooh, that's really cool. I don't know if that's supposed to be there. Let me check the satellite, see what that is. Is that the 3? There's a thing like a monument or something in the area, but I don't think that's it. Oh yeah, there are buildings down there. Not that big, but there are buildings down there. That's probably why that's being rendered in. Yeah, there are buildings down there. Not like that though. But anyway, about to cross over. I know I've said that, but 42 times now? Is anybody keeping track of how many times I've repeated myself in the last 4.5 minutes of this video? Alright, making the cross. It looks like this is County Highway 1. And this is County Highway, don't know. It's not showing up on the map. But there we are, crossing into Kansas. Ta-da! So like, subscribe, so you know when the next part drops, when we finish leg 1 of this mission where we land in St. Louis. And I'm gonna keep on going as late as I can and start the next video, and you'll watch it if you've subscribed so you know when it comes up. I'll see you then.